Hello everyone, welcome back to Pixel Village and I'm Radha Krishnan. Well, it was during the end of 2018 that Fuji launched their popular X-T3 camera. In fact, it became popular after the launch. We got the camera towards the beginning of 2019 and we've been using this for our videos, for our YouTube videos extensively in Pixel Village. Subsequently, they launched the X-T3, the X Pro 3 and many other smaller cameras and the X-T4 recently. In the process, what happened was that the owners of the X-T3 started developing a little dissatisfaction about the focusing capability of the camera, the X-T3, low light, follow focus, eye autofocus, and the quickness in which it is grabbing the focus, etc. They started comparing with the X-T3 and the X-T4. Of course, even though this camera had, ever since it was launched in the September of 2018, had got 10 upgrades till then. Well, the 10th one was very recent. But they still were not exactly happy, and they always used to compare this with the X-T3 and the X-T4. Well, X-T4 is in the same league, it's an upgrade to the X-T3, but X-T3 was a step down, but still in terms of focus, well, follow focus and eye autofocus, it probably had a better, ability. Well, people stayed with the X-T3 purely because this was the flagship camera. But when the X-T4 came, well, X-T4 now, well, we use the X-T4. In fact, this is being shot using an X-T4 and we really like the X-T4 and its capabilities. This camera started getting compared to other cameras. Well, it's very known among the tech world that, the earlier models get a little sidelined and they don't really care about firmware upgrades, etc. But to everybody's surprise, Fuji announced the launch of the version 4, straight from 3.30 to version 4, with a ton of upgrades promises. So, we here have the X-T3 with us. This still has the 3.3, the version 3.3, and we are ready to download the version 4. We're going to do that now. We're going to get into a small shoot and see whether there is a real difference between two shoots. Of course, before upgrading, I'm going to shoot the same sequence with the earlier firmware and then after the upgrade. Let's see a small shoot now. Aditya, stand by. My movie setting, AF mode is in multi. Custom sensitivity of continuous focusing is in standard, which is 2. AF speed is 0. The face detection and the eye autofocus on. Action. Okay, I still can't see the eye being detected. All right, and that's when the eye is picked. And wear the glasses. Okay, now where the glass is worn, yes, still the eye is being picked, but you suddenly lose that. Okay? But the face is in focus. This is pre-firmware upgrade. Okay, now we have moved indoors, very low light. As you can see, the ISO is 4000. Surprisingly, the camera is trying to catch the focus. Aditya, keep the computer down and start walking towards the camera. Okay, and yes, the focus is locked, bang on. I must tell you, the sensitivity and the tracking speed is maximum in low light, but decent bit of eye tracking is available. Go back, wear your sunglasses. It's fashionable to wear sunglasses indoors these days. All right, please. Okay. Yep. So we are pulling the camera a little bit. Okay. As you can see, the focus is a little sketchy, but camera is quickly understanding the moving subject and trying to latch on to the focus. Well, for these experiments, I'm using the 16-55 f2.8, the red badge lens. So the lenses also contribute in a big way. Some of the older lenses will definitely be slower. All right, cut. Let's upgrade the camera firmware. To start with, let's format an SD card within the camera itself. Okay. Now that the SD card is formatted, switch off the camera, SD card. So let me put that into a card reader. My website is ready. Go to fujifilm-x.com, download the version and very strictly follow the instructions. Make sure that your camera battery is fully charged and switched off. Insert the memory card, and while keeping the display and back button pressed, switch on the camera. And in 2 seconds, you will start seeing dialog box, which basically asks your permission to upgrade from 3.3 to version 4. Well, make sure that you also have a lens attached, because lenses also undergo a firmware upgrade. Put any lens. All right. Okay, say yes, and we need to wait till the camera tells you that it is all done. All right, so once it is done, switch off the camera once and switch it on all over again, and voila, your camera is now supposedly a new animal. Okay, now this is after the firmware upgrade. I have the AF custom settings at the neutral mode, and of course I also have the eye activated. All right, Aditya, now time to get up and start pick up, and yes, camera has started picking the eye immediately and it's not leaving him at all. All right, and now wear the specs. All right, and yeah, with the specs, of course, you actually are fooling the camera. Take the specs off. All right, and quickly the camera latches on to the eye. Okay, can you make some quick movements across the camera? Yeah, all right, and go down and come up. Okay. Let's look at the big ticket improvements. The main one is, of course, thanks to X-T4, is in the speed of autofocus. It is improved from 0.06 to 0.02. Now, it's very important that the camera needs to focus very fast, especially in X-T4, because it has 16 frames per second speed. All right, with mechanical shutter. With electronic shutter, it's much more. But this guy had much lesser. But now X-T3 also will have the same autofocus speed as the X-T4. Well, the algorithm predicts subject movements is improved. AF tracking and the performance has been doubled. Okay, wonderful. And the face tracking and the eye AF performance have been upgraded. Now, the one which I really liked about is the focusing capability, which has been improved in the X-T4 to -7 EV. which I think many photographers, candid photographers, wedding photographers are going to like, because X-T4 performed bloody well in low light conditions. It locked onto focus very fast, and there were a few complaints about the X-T3. Now, during the past 10 firmware upgrades, only once it actually got an AF improvement firmware upgrade. Rest were all primarily fixing, other bugs. So this one is a big one, and now this has actually taken this to, X-T4's level. To complicate the matter further, the X-T3 has actually got a major price cut. Now, at that price, which is about 86,000 Indian rupees, this camera is now great value. Now, it seems like X-T3 and X-T4 is going to have a small fight within the family about, who's going to be sold more. Fortunately, we have both, so we're going to continue enjoy both X-T3 and X-T4. So, if you are someone who is not really worried about the IBIS, the in-body stabilization, which X-T4 has, and also the 16 frames per second speed and the fully articulating screen, and a couple of other video features like the video in-body video stabilization, etc. This guy can really give a run for its money to many cameras. Definitely the crop sensor DSLR is going to really watch out for the X-T3. I would call this the second coming. Bye for now.